Good afternoon. I'm seeing one person on the live so far. Welcome, welcome. Welcome. I'm still waiting for some more persons to join us. I see a few persons have tuned in. Just type in the chat so I know where you're tuned in from and if you're a teacher or you're a student. Hi, Carice from Manchester High. Welcome, my dear. Welcome. Who else do we have? Anika from Manchester High. Welcome, Anika. Who else do we have on the live stream? I'm still awaiting some more persons to join us. Hi, Denisha from Bishop Gibson High. I'm seeing Yukiano. Oh, Shaniel Francis from Manchester High as well. Welcome. Share the link with some of your friends in the event that they haven't seen it or maybe they don't remember. So just touch base with them to remind them that we're on this evening. Just bear with us a little bit, persons who are on, until a few more persons have joined us. And then we'll go right ahead and get started. For the persons who are on, have you started writing your research paper already? Or have you completed it? Have you started? Hey there, ladies. That's Carice, Anika, Denisha, and Shaniel. Have you started your research paper already or have you completed it? How far are you in the process? Just type it in the chat. Carice, it's coming along pretty well. Nice. Very good. I like to hear that. Anybody else wants to share how theirs coming along? Who is this? Tajani Gardner. It's coming along slowly but surely. All right, nice. Keep pushing. Anika, not finished, but it's okay so far. Very good. That means we are very much on our way. Tajani, who is this? Tajani, which school are you from? You can, it's coming along slowly. All right, as long as it's coming along and you don't stop and you keep working at it, then we are in a good place. Hi, Alia. Welcome, Alia. Which school are you from, Alia? Manchester High. All right, thank you so much for tuning in. How is your paper going, Alia? How is it so far? How is the paper coming, Alia? Coming on. How is it coming on so far? Started it, but taking it slowly and patiently. All right, great. As long as we want to make sure that we finish successfully and we also meet the deadlines. All right. All right, so we're giving everybody else about 2 more minutes and then we're going to go ahead and start with the persons who we have here. All right. Two more minutes and then we'll begin. Hi, Miss Stewart, teacher from Rhodes Hall High. Thank you for joining us and tuning in. Good to have you. What happened to your students, Miss Stewart? It would be nice to have some of them as well. Also, make sure you all have your questions at the same time so that as we go through the live and wherever you have the question, then we will go ahead and answer them as well today. All right, after I'm through taking you through some of the steps in terms of your approach to writing your research. What they are supposed to be on. Oh, I'm not hearing them. All right, the students of Rhodes Hall, could you just type something in the chat so we know that you're here and that you're with us, you're listening to us? So far, I know we have students from Manchester High and Bishop Gibson High. We don't want to overlook anybody who has taken the time out to be here with us this afternoon. So I just want to make sure you're all here. Nice. Commander Swaby from Rhodes Hall High is here. Hi, Commander. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks for joining us. So now I'm certain we have 3 schools on: Manchester High, Bishop Gibson, and Rhodes Hall High. All right, and so as the others come on, we'll just ask persons to just type in the chat which school they're from, etc., and so we can continue. So we're going to go right ahead and we're going to start. We're here almost 15 minutes. We've been waiting, and so we want to proceed with persons who are here. Now, you're here this afternoon because we want to talk a little bit about how we are going to write our research paper, or an approach to writing the research paper that we are supposed to be writing for the CSEC examination, right? Some persons would have already started their research paper, so that's awesome. Some persons may be finished, right? And some persons may not have started writing as yet, right? So, but wherever you are in the process, we are hoping that you can learn something from this live and that it will be quite useful to help you, to bring you to completion. If you've not yet done your interview as well, also we're going to just provide you with information as to how to proceed just the same. It will be just as useful. All right, it will be just as useful. So now remember that the syllabus asks you to study or do a research on an individual, yes, who is a theater practitioner. You're also supposed to do your research on, or maybe somebody who's a cultural practitioner, a folk group, a dance company, a theater company. But it must be somebody who would have made a valuable contribution to the body or the development of theater within the Caribbean. Yes? So we have quite a number of persons who are definitely involved in these different areas, who are involved in culture, in theater, various companies, but they may not yet have a body of work. So when you think about somebody or an institution that would have contributed to the development of theater within the Caribbean, you want to think about an individual or an institution or a group that has what? Those people must have a large body of work, something significant that when you look at the body of work, it tells you how they would have impacted the lives of several other persons. And so for today's session, I'm going to be using the Edna Manley College as an example. All right, in our examples. So I'm choosing an institution. I realize that we have some additional persons on who are just joining us. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm just going to ask you, as you come on, to just type in the chat which school you're from, say whether you're a student or you are a teacher, so we know who we have here, who we are talking with, and who we are interacting with as we go along. All right, Mona High, Shanna from Mona High. Welcome, Shanna. Now, guys, as I keep talking, and questions come to you, do not be afraid to put them in the chat at the same time while I'm presenting, all right? Once I see them, I will address them for you, okay? So I was talking about the different people that you can do your interview with, and I'm saying for the purpose of this live, whenever I cite an example, I might be using Edna Manley College, an institution that most of us would know. Welcome, Navardo from Mona High as well. Now, before you go out and start to write your research paper, the first thing you have to do is to make sure that you conduct your research on the person, company, or the institution that you intend to do your research paper on. And I know some of the students of Manchester High, Bishop Gibson High, and Mona High would have done some solid research on the individuals that they would have interviewed, because I've heard some of their questions and they had really good questions which suggest that they would have researched the individuals, because you have to make sure that these questions in that this research that you have done form or inform what you ask your individuals. Now, once you have done your research, you're going to prepare your questions. Make sure the questions are open-ended questions. And most of us should know what open-ended questions are. When we think about the open-ended questions, we think about the questions that will allow the individual that you're interviewing to explain. Yes, you don't want to ask those questions that allows persons to give only a one answer or a one-word response, because that does not give you enough information. So if you have not yet done your interview and you're in the process of doing that interview, revisit your questions to make sure that the questions are open-ended questions. All right. For example, if I am doing something on Edna Manley College and I say to somebody and I ask the question, when did the School of Drama begin? Right? If I ask that question, all I'm going to get is one response. I'm just going to get the date when it started. However, if I ask the person how and when the School of Drama started, it simply means the person will not have to explain. So I'm going to get the date, but I'm also going to get the backstory about how the School of Drama would have started. Right? So that is important for us to be able to have that kind of information and open-ended questions when we are writing. So once we have our open-ended questions, right, and we've asked the questions and done the interview, then of course we want to put pen to paper. And once we put pen to paper, then of course we are going to go right ahead and we are going to be writing our research paper. And this is where most of the work will come into play when we start writing. Now, first you have to do is to make sure that you have a rationale in your research. Why is it that I am studying this individual that I am studying? Welcome, Kian Orgil from Mona High. Welcome to you. Why is it that you have decided to study the individual or the company or the institution that you have chosen? And this is particularly important because you now have to be specific with your reasons. So you want to say, give 2 reasons, for example, but you want to also explain. And it's asking you to say, give a reason, a personal reason, as in for you, the individual. Why have I chosen it for me? And why is it that I've chosen it for somebody else? Yes? So, for example, if you are writing your rationale for selecting an Edna Manley and I'm writing it, I am probably going to write something that say maybe one of my reasons for choosing the Edna Manley College. Maybe it's because I'm always hearing things about the Edna Manley College, but I do not know much about Edna Manley. And so I'm hoping to do this research on Edna Manley and hope I'll be able to learn something that I did not know before. That would be a personal reason for me if I select an Edna Manley College. Maybe if I select an individual, let us say I think Miss Stewart is on. So if I decide that I want to do an interview with Miss Stewart from Rosal High School, it could still be my same, one of my reasons, one of my rationale. I could say that, you know what, I'm always hearing about Miss Stewart. I'm always seeing or hearing about works that she would have done. And so I'd like to know more about her. And so I'm embarking on this research so that I can know more. And so that would be a personal reason for me. But it's asking you to give 2 reasons, one for you, one for somebody else. And so maybe the reason for somebody else, I may say the reason is that, okay, having done the research, I would also want to share whatever information I would have discovered about Edna Manley College with somebody else so I can help them and to educate them about the cultural space or the creative space that Edna Manley College is. That may be my rationale for wanting it for somebody else. And so in that short example, I would have given 2 reasons as my rationale and justification for why it is that I would study an Edna Manley College. Any questions from anybody? Is the rationale clear? Persons who would have started their paper, is that what you did? Those who have not yet started, is it clear to you? Just put in the chat if it's clear, type yes. If that's what you did, type yes. If it's not clear, you want me to go over something, just put it in the chat. Let me know that you're here with me and you're still listening. Carrie says yes, that's what you did, Carrie. It's clear. What does the yes mean? Yes, it's clear. Yes, I understand. Okay, Shanna says yes, it's clear. Carrie says crystal clear. Shanice says yes, it's clear. Very good. So I'm happy you are with me. Now, before we go to what the other sections are, what I want you to remember is that in writing your research paper, you're writing almost like you're writing an essay. Yes, you're presenting it as an essay. So you're not breaking up the parts. Yes, you're not breaking up the parts. And so the rationale is not different from the general discussion that you're going to have about the other things. Yeah? You want to make sure that you keep it as one essay. And so you might be able to use a paragraph or a paragraph and a half to write about what the rationale is for selecting the place or the persons that you would have selected. Now, once you have your rationale presented, and you are now going to go into your overall discussion, you're going to present the information that you would have discovered about the place that you would have researched. So, for example, you found out different bits and things about Edna Manley College. If I'm using Edna Manley College, so if I found out that Edna Manley, there was a point that all the schools were at different places before they came together to form one institution. If I found out that, boy, you know what? After they came together, the name was changed. If I found out that, boy, they do a range of productions and performances in this space. Once I asked all of these questions and I found out the names of the founding persons who helped to establish the institution, and I learn about how it would have developed over the years. If I get all of that information from my interview, I am now going to write an essay sharing that bit of information. And so my essay would now incorporate something that says along the line that, you know, Edna Manley College started with all the different schools being at different locations. And within a particular year, I don't remember that year, all the schools would have come together under one umbrella here at Arthur Wint Drive, and it was once called the Cultural Training Center. The school is a general bit of information for me to be able to proceed with the work. All right. And so once I have all of that, that's what my essay would contain, along with all the other bits and information that I would have received. So, for example, those persons who would have done their interview with Mr. Dawkins or maybe with Mr. Titus, all the information that Mr. Dawkins would have given you about himself, you are going to put all of that in one big essay and write back that bit of information. Is that clear, everyone? Any questions about that? Let me know that you're still there. If it's clear, tell me that it is clear. If it's not clear, tell me that it's not clear and that you'd want me to go over something for you. Carissa, no questions. Thanks, Carice. Anybody else? Clear from Chanel. Very good. Understand from Shana. Beautiful. So you are going to write your own essay. Now, a part of what you do after you've written your essay, you have to now have another section which is supposed to be your reflection component. And this part is very, very important. Now, before I get to your reflection, we're still under the discussion. Now, in your discussion segment where you write the information, you have to be able to link your discussion to your rationale. So you're now going to draw conclusions about the individual, about the institution, based on the information that you received. Yes? So for example, let me see if I can explain it quite clearly for you. So let us say about the Edna Manley College. I have learned about Edna Manley College in my research that, you know what? Edna Manley College now has 6 schools, right? It has a school of dance, school of music, school of drama, school of visual arts, school of continuing education, and school of humanities. Let us say I've learned that bit of information. So I learned that they started out with 4 and now they're at 6 and they're offer a range of programs. Now, based on that information, one of the conclusions that I could draw about the institution based on that is that over the years, the institution would have grown and the institution would have developed over the years. And so they would have grown in such a way that they were able to move from having 4 schools to now having 6 different schools that make up the college. And so that is productivity, that is progress that would have been made on the part of the institution. So based on that information, that is one conclusion that I could draw about the information, about the institution, because that's an information that I would have received somewhere. But I'm not leaving it there. I have to make connection to the rationale that I made earlier. So earlier when I was speaking and I gave the example of the rationale, I would have said that, you know what, I would want to probably learn some more things about the Edna Manley College because I'm always hearing about the institution and I would want to learn more. Now that I'm in the discussion segment, where I would have discovered about the growth of the school and draw some conclusion, one of the things I could link to the rationale is by saying, you know, I wanted to learn more about the institution, and having done the research, I have learned this additional information about the institution. And this additional information, it has helped me to now better appreciate the institution. Yes, it has helped me to better appreciate the work that is happening in the institution, and also encourage me to want to share this information that I would have learned with other individuals. That would be what my connection with the rationale is. All right, let me repeat that once more. I may not say it with the same exact words, but I'm going to use the same sentiment. Remember when we just started the live and I was explaining the rationale? I indicated that, if with an Edna Manley as an example, that, you know what, maybe my rationale would be that I've always heard about Edna Manley College, don't know much, and I would like to know more. Here, I have done the research and I've drawn my conclusion that the school has grown. Now, in this discussion that we are having, you must link the information in your discussion to your rationale. And so how I would link it to the rationale that I gave at the beginning was to say that, listen, you know what? I have learned about the institution, that they've grown from 4 schools to 6, and this is new information. And this information at the beginning, I did say I want to learn more about the institution. And so I've learned more, and it is now helping me to do what? Appreciate the institution, appreciate the work some more, and make me want to share this information with other individuals who are out there about the institution, so they too can learn to appreciate the institution and more of what is happening at the institution. So that is how I would try to discuss it and try to connect it or link it to the rationale. But a part of my discussion, guys, and this is a very, very, very critical part of the discussion, is that I must be able to say, how is it that the Edna Manley College would have contributed to the development of theatre or culture or the performing arts within the Caribbean? And so whichever individual you have selected, you have to now analyze the information that you have received from your research and from the interview and say how it is that you believe the individual or the company would have contributed to the development of theatre within the Caribbean. So, for example, if I'm going to look at how Edna Manley would have contributed to the development of theatre in the Caribbean, I could look at the fact that Edna Manley is still the only performing arts institution within the English-speaking Caribbean. And students from all over the Caribbean would have visited the institution to study and then go back to their own home country or their various communities, and they are passing on the knowledge that they would have garnered from the institution. Another way is that you have all the persons who have studied here. A number of them are still in the performing arts industry. They are in theatre, they are performing in Jamaica and also abroad. So they are ambassadors, they are providing jobs for different persons when they employ them. And so this is just one way or two ways in which Edna Manley would have contributed to the development within the Caribbean. So you have to look at the information you have on the person. So for example, persons would have studied, again, interviewed Mr. Basil Dawkins. If you want to look at how Mr. Basil Dawkins would have contributed to the development of theatre in the Caribbean, now one of the first things you want to realize is that Mr. Dawkins is a producer and a writer and stages a play every single year where he employs a range of actors within the theatre. So he provides jobs for individuals within the theatre. Most of his actors are not just persons who within Jamaica. Some persons are also working in other places in the Caribbean with whom, he would have interacted and would have imparted his knowledge to them. What he would have also done whenever he has plays, he would have gone on tours within the Caribbean and also outside of the Caribbean, within the diaspora, where he's engaging people and keeping them in touch with their Jamaican roots and the Jamaican culture in order for them to stay and preserve their identity and still stay abreast with the things that are on the ground within Jamaica. Those are basic ways in which he would have contributed to the development of theatre. And by being a playwright, he continues to tell the stories of our people and continue to give voice. Yes, and continue to give a voice to the voiceless and continue to advocate through his art and provide solid entertainment for individuals and to help to keep the culture alive. Yes? So those are just some mere examples of ways in which you can see an individual would have contributed. If you have interviewed somebody who is a performer, the person is also a teacher, you can also think about the fact that the person as a teacher is imparting knowledge about theatre to others. And of course, it's allowing to shape minds, yes, and for persons to learn skills and to develop a range of skills that can help them in the future. Yeah, so you have to look at the various information that you would have received in the interview and also from your research about the individual. Yes, any questions from anybody? And by the way, if you're just joining the live, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Just put a comment in the comment section so we know who you are, which school you're coming from, or whether you're a teacher or you're a student, so we can continue our conversation and we know who we're speaking with if you're just joining us. For the others who were on before when I did the explanation of the discussion, is there any question about that? Is there anything you want me to go over? Is there anything that you don't understand? Is it very clear? Let me know. Just put something in the chat. Let me know that you're still listening and you're understanding where we are. Do I have anybody? No comment, no questions. All good. Thanks, Carice. Carice is always on the ball. Thanks, Carice. Anybody else? Anything on the discussion? Anika, understanding great. Anybody else? Do we have any questions? No? Kiana said she's understanding clearly. Very good. Chanel is understanding great, guys. I like the fact that you're understanding because that's why we are here. Tajni said that she's understanding. Beautiful. That's what I want from us, to make sure that we are fully understanding what is being said. Now, once you have done, all right, thanks, Alia, no questions. So once you have done the entire discussion segment of it, right, then you can move on to do the other part of the paper where you're going to be looking at your reflection. Now, within your, as part of your reflection, you have to put some supporting material. Now, students, your supporting material is very important. Yes? Don't just take a picture of the person that or the space that you're interviewing and just put it in your research paper. If you take a picture of the person just standing, smiling, and looking pretty, right, that does not tell us anything about the individual. Remember, it is called supporting material for a reason. What you want to make sure that you're doing with the supporting material is that it reflects the information that you would have put in the body of your work. So that big essay that we just write, you want to make sure that any picture that you put in is reflecting that. So, for example, I was using Edna Manley as an example. And so if I'm talking about Edna Manley College now having 6 different schools. Maybe a picture that I could put in the a picture that I could put in my research paper supported material. I could take a picture of the School of Drama and entrance of the School of Drama. I would take one for the School of Dance. I could take one from School of Music, School of Visual Arts, School of Continuing Education. Yes, a School of Arts Management and Humanities. And then I would put those in my essay. But when I put them in as my support material, it is important that I'm now going to label them. Yes, I am now going to label them. And so when I label them, I will label School of Drama. Yes, Edna Manley College School of Drama. I will also label School of Dance, Edna Manley College School. So I label them so persons can see. And then when I'm going to put in for continuing education and School of Humanities, I'm also going to label them and those two as the two schools that were added lately. Yes, the two schools that were added lately to the Edna Manley College, and label those. So in the persons then looking at the picture, we'll see how those pictures match the information that I would have put in. If in your body of your work, the individual that you interviewed, it says that the person is a family person, for example, love family, outside of theater, you can put the information. Yes, you can put the information, put a picture of the individual with their family and say, you know what, Basil Dawkins liming or relaxing with his family. All right, Navardo, could you say which part you want me to go over? You want me to talk about the support materials again or the pictures? Tell me the section that you'd want me to go over. Just tell me the section, Navardo. You want me to talk about the pictures again? Just tell me which part and I'll go over it for you. All right, so let me go over the pictures again. I'm assuming it's the pictures. Navardo said go over it one more time. So I'm assuming he's referring to the support materials. Once you have finished writing the body of your research, so putting in all the information, and you've also finished the discussion component, then you're going to get into your reflection component. Now you want to include the support materials as the first part in your reflection. Now the support material, it must support that is why it's called supporting material. So it must match the information that you would have just written about the individual. And I was using Edna Manley College as an example. If I was doing a research paper on Edna Manley College, and I would have said in my essay about Edna Manley that Edna Manley College started with 4 schools and it now has 6 schools. What I would do as my support material, I would take a picture of all the schools where there are signs. Come to Edna Manley College, get a picture of all of them, and I would put that information and I put it in. So I'd put the School of Drama, School of Dance, School of Music, School of Visual Arts, and I would label them, because labeling your image is important, because that helps your audience or your reader to understand why this particular image is in your SB and why it makes sense. So you're going to label it School of Drama, School of Dance, and you label all of them. When I'm putting in the final 2 schools that were added lately, I would then label them School of Arts Management, School of Continuing Education, the 2 schools that were added later on at Edna Manley College to make it 6 schools that make up the college. So what I would have done, I would have labeled it. So I'm also saying if you have selected any individual at all for your research, take picture that reflect what you say about them. Yes, if you said that Basil Dawkins would have written and produced several plays and you'd have listed some of the plays. For example, you've listed No Hope for Hopi, Pressure Drop, Once a Man, Twice a Wife, Hide Your Husband. Those are 4 plays that he would have written. What are you going to do? You could take the poster. You could take the poster for or the flyer for those plays and put them in your research paper. But then you're going to label them No Hope for Hope, written by Basil Dawkins and was staged in 2023. Yes, or Open Doors to Theatre 2022 into 2023. So you label it so that when your teacher is reading or any other examiner at CSEC is reading your paper, they will see all the label and understand the information that is there. If you have interviewed a director, right? For example, if you had interviewed me, right, as a director, then you could also take images of my work if you have pictures of any work that I would have directed, and you're going to put it in. And when you put it in, you are going to type and label it to say, okay, Belly Woman directed by Doreen Reed in 2018. Yes, so you have to label all of your work in that way to make it very clear. Navardo is saying to go over the discussion. All right, Navardo, I'm going to go over it, but just since we have gone so far with the discussion, the pictures, give me a few, and I'm going to go over it in a bit for you, just so you can get it. So hold on. So let us just finish up this section, and then I'll go right back to the discussion for you. All right. Everyone else understand what I'm talking about when I'm talking about how you label your pictures? What I also want to remind you about is that you must make sure that you don't have less than 2 images in your support materials. You need to have more than that. All right, no less than 2. If you have less than 2, then you're not supporting enough. Yeah, but just make sure that the images reflect the individual work. And of course, you can also have videotape of the persons. So what if you can find snippets of the person's work, video clippings? You can put those video clippings together and maybe put it on a thumb drive, put it on a CD, and insert it into your work. Yes, you can insert it into your work to say these are your supported materials, but make sure that those video clippings would be properly labeled. All right, you have to make sure that those clippings are also properly labeled, and that would take care of the support material. All right, guys, so before I move to the other parts of the reflection, I just quickly want to go back over the discussion segment for Shana says she has about 10. That's fine, Shana. Just make sure that they are properly labeled and they speak to the information that you would have put in about the individual. So that is fine if you have about 10. There's no penalty for having 10. All right? So that is okay. All right, so guys, I'm just going to go over the discussion again real quickly for Navardo, because Navardo is asking to just quickly go over the discussion segment one more time. All right, so this is how the discussion segment works, Navardo, and I hope you're really listening and listening carefully. Now, with the discussion segment is where you are going to draw some conclusion about the individual or the company that you would have studied based on the information. One of the examples that I gave was that if I wrote about an Edna Manley College and I discovered that Edna Manley College would have started with 4 schools, and then by now in 2023, they actually have 6 schools, I can draw a quick conclusion. And the quick conclusion that I can draw from that is that the Edna Manley College has grown, it has progressed. It has grown, it has progressed because it started with only 4 schools, and here they are now with 6 schools offering a range of programs, and they are now serving the entire Caribbean. So they have grown and they have made major progress to contribute towards theatre. That is the conclusion that I could draw, and that would form a part of my discussion in my work. But in addition to drawing conclusion based on the information that I would have had in my research, I must also link this information that I've gathered about the institution back to my rationale. And again, I'm going to give you the example. At the beginning of the live, when we started looking at the rationale, I indicated that one of my rationale for choosing Edna Manley as an example would be that I have always heard about the institution, but I do not know much about the institution. And so I am doing this research to make sure that I will learn more about the institution. Yes, and I can share the information with others. So now that I'm at the discussion and I would have learned these new things about the Edna Manley College, I can now link it to my rationale to say, in my rationale, what I did in my rationale was that I was able to do what? I wanted to be able to learn more about the college. And so I have learned more about the college and learned all of this new information, and it has allowed me to better appreciate the Edna Manley College, appreciate the work that they do there, and would also be more willing to share the information with others, to also teach them about the space called Edna Manley College. And so that is how I would link my rationale, yes, to the various findings and the information that I would have received and found out during my research. And so that's basically how you are going to approach your discussion. Another part of your thing that you want to put in your discussion, Navardo, is that in your discussion, you want to talk about the contribution that the space or the individual or the theater company or the dance company would have made to the development of theater, the performing arts and culture within Jamaica and the wider Caribbean. And I'm saying, if I am choosing an Edna Manley College that I'm studying, I'm going to talk about how Edna Manley College would have trained persons in the arts from right across the Caribbean, and so it continues to provide the artists, and these people go back to their spaces or their homeland and their home countries, and they train other people. They start full-on theater companies, they start their own performing arts companies, some of them start their own school, and so the information is passed on. They train teachers who go into schools and impart knowledge. They have persons who are still employed in the theater who continue to be ambassadors for the theater. They would have traveled overseas internationally and they are representing the country. Some of them are creating employment for other individuals. All of this is being done in the theater industry simply because of an Edna Manley College. And that is how Edna Manley is helping with the preservation of. Yes, if it's an individual like a Basil Dawkins, we talk about the fact that Basil Dawkins, ways in which he would have contributed to the development is by writing and continuing to preserve the culture, telling the stories of people, taking his work into the diaspora to ensure that people stay connected to Jamaica. He provides job for others through the employment with the theater and just keeping theater alive, right? And so those are things that you want to discuss to state how he would have contributed to the development of theater within the Caribbean. Yes? Is that much clearer for you now, Navardo? Let me know. It seems as if, I don't know, Navardo may be experiencing a bit of delay. So maybe he's not getting the information the same time that that the rest of us, we are getting it. All right, so until Navardo responds, we are going to continue. So we talked about the support material and how we are going to put the support material. And listen, guys, in putting in your support material, and you see if you are the creative type, you can organize a support material creatively in your work. Now, we have all kind of technology, logical things that can help us with our colors and our organization and our layout. So you can choose to be creative in your general layout of your support material. A lot of you can now use free Canva and all those different softwares that they have out there for schools, and you can find nice creative ways to lay out your work. Remember, you're given marks for creativity, yes? And so that's one of the ways you can build on the creativity by how you lay out and present your information, you present your information in terms of the various support materials. Understand? So if you are one of those persons who want to explore with that, if you have your pictures, find nice little ways of laying out your images. in your work. That also helps. All right. So now that we've done the support materials, as part of your reflection, there are two other components that you must do. You must do the written component, and you must also do the creative component. So let's talk a little bit now about the written component. Now, in the written component, what you're expected to do in the written component of your reflection, this is where it is a personal writing. Yes, it's a personal writing, your own personal writing. So you want to state what exactly it is that you have learned. Yes, from doing, just by doing this, what have you learned about yourself? And whether it's a positive thing or it's a negative thing, that is okay. But you want to state what exactly you have learned about yourself during this particular process. So it's not only about what you've learned just generally. You want to talk about what you've learned about yourself. You want to write at least two things that you've learned. So maybe some of you might learn that, boy, you get anxious easily. Some of you might probably think that you learn about yourself that you like theater. You'll probably learn about yourself that, boy, you don't like theater. You learn about yourself that you can actually write. Whatever it is, you want to state what those two things are that you've actually learned about yourself in the process. Then you also want to describe in your reflection, a part of your written component is that find a challenge that you had. What was the challenge? Maybe the challenge was maybe getting in touch with the person that you want to interview. Maybe that was your challenge. Yeah, state what that challenge was, and then you want to say how it is that you dealt with the challenge. And so if the challenge was, you know what, it was so difficult to get in touch with Miss Reed, to be able to interview Miss Reed. Tell us in your research paper how it is that you handled that challenge and how you were able to get over that challenge. So that has to be part of what you're writing in your reflection. Now, what else you also want to state? You want to state what it is that is new that you've learned. What have you learned from doing this research that you did not know before? Yes? What have you learned that you did not know before? Now, I want to ask persons this comment right now in the chat as we are here talking. What have you learned from doing the research? So based on who you've done your research on or what you've researched. And I just want persons to tell me in the chat. What have you learned that you did not know before? Anybody? Or more than one person can respond. What have you learned that you did not learn before? What have you learned that you did not learn before? Anybody? Who wants to share? Navardo, what have you learned that you did not learn before from your interview? Shanna, Ashanti from Rhodes Hall. Hi, welcome Ashanti. What have you learned that you did not learn before? Alia, Carice. Anything that you've learned that you did not learn before and you want to share with us? Just share one thing. Kiana, Anika, Tajne. What have you learned that you did not learn before? Are we still there? Put something in the chat, let me know that you're still with me and you're listening. Let me know that you're still there and you're listening. No, I don't have anybody. Carice, are you there? Shanna? Miss Stewart? Alia? Tajane? Navardo? I'm calling these names because these are the names that I've always seen popping up. These are the names that I'm always seeing popping up. Kimanda, Chanel. All right, Alia said that she's there. What is one thing that you have learned from doing your research, Alia, that you did not know before? That's what I'm asking persons to do. Kenna is here. Thank you. Moya is here from Manchester High. Tell me, from based on doing the interview, tell me something that you've learned that you did not learn before. So based on who you did your research on. Just one thing. All right, I'm not getting a response to that question, so I'm going to move on because I'm not getting a response to that question. All right, so let us move on. But you have to state that in your reflection, that has to be a part of what you will put in your reflection. You have to state what is that thing that you did not know before that you have now learned. And then, having identified what that thing is that you didn't know before and you've now learned it, you have to now say, how do you think this new knowledge is going to assist you in the future? Yes? How do you think this new knowledge is going to assist you in the future? And that is why I was asking persons to put in the chat what it is that you think you have learned now that you did not know before, so that we can look at the possibilities of different ways in which this probably new knowledge could possibly help you in the future, so you can put together a very nice and very strong response. But I'm not getting any response to that question from anybody. So even though persons are saying that they're still here, I don't know if we're still here because persons are not responding at all. All right, but if you're still here, could you just do some time and give this video a thumbs up for me? Let me know if you're still here. Since you don't want to tell me what it is that you've learned, let me see you give the video a thumbs up. Let me see if you're still here. And who I'm also going to ask, if you've not yet subscribed to the channel and you're on, just give it a subscription, hit the subscription button and subscribe to the channel while we're at it and we're talking. So if you're here, go ahead and do just that. That will also still tell me that will tell me that you're still here. Right? Give the video a like, give the live a like, and of course, go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you're still here. I'm not sure what happened just now. Oh my God. The devil is a liar. Sorry, guys. I hope you're still here. I think I had a challenge. I learned that Miss TK Dawkins is one of the best females director in yes, Navardo. Yes, Navardo, thank you for that. Guys, I had a disruption just now, but I'm back. All right, I had a disruption, but I'm back, guys. I hope you're still here with me. All right, okay. Kiana said, I haven't started my research paper yet, but I think even though people love watching plays in Jamaica, becoming an actor is kind of looked down on, even though it's a creative profession. Yes, Ken, and you don't have to start your research paper in order to know something because you would have already done your research. But you are correct. Yes, some people love watching plays, but they look down on the creative individuals. Yes, they like to do that. So you are so correct in that you've garnered. All right, nice. So we want to get back to looking at our creative component. We were looking at the written component of the reflection, and I was talking about what it is that you've learned and what the new knowledge is and how this new knowledge can help. And Navardo said that she has learned that TK Dawkins is one of the best female director in Jamaica. Now, how do you think this new information can help you, Navardo? It simply means one of the ways you think it could help you is that you could possibly look at ways in terms of how you could do work with Miss TK Dawkins. It could help you in the future because you could probably ask her to do workshops with you. You could attend some of her sessions. You could try to sit and have conversation. You could ask her to be a mentor. You could ask her to teach you some of her professional skills, some business skills. Those are different ways that bit of information can help. But it also tells you that anyone, whether male or female, can be a director and can be best director as well. Same thing with Ken. You talk about Kiana, about persons that are looked down even though it's still a creative and people love to watch plays. The fact that you have recognized that people love to watch plays, here is an opportunity for you to do what? Encourage more people to go and watch plays. You realize that people look down on the profession, so what can you do? You can find ways to educate people about the profession and being in the profession. Yes, that is also very critical and very important. And so that is also one way you could inform persons to recognize that, listen, this is how it can work, and this is what this bit of information can help you to do in the future. You can become an advocate for theater. Yes, I'm just throwing things out there that can assist you with your writing. Yeah, when you talk about something new that you did not know before, but you can also state why was it important that you learned this thing that's so new that you did not learn before. Yes, why is it so important that you have learned it? So it's not only the fact that you've learned it and how it can help you, but why was it so important for you to learn it? And the other question or other thing you want to answer as part of your research, you want to also talk about how you believe that the information by doing this research on the person, how do you think that research has helped you to better understand the individual? So for example, if I did my research on an Edna Manley College, I now need to say how it is that by doing this research, it helped me to better understand the Edna Manley College. It helped me to better understand because I would now know what a performing arts institution is all about. I understand what is being offered, and I also understand better why it is that some of the things I see on this stage are the way they are. Right? It's the same thing if you interviewed an individual. So, okay, somebody put TK Dawkins as an example. You want to put into that, you want to talk about why it is that interviewing Tony K, doing the research on Tony K, assists you in understanding her some more. It helps you to understand what goes into preparing a play as a director. It helps you to also better understand and appreciate the challenges that they endure, and also appreciate the performance that you see on stage, because you know that it's a lot of work going into it. You also understand that, you know what, being a director is no easy job. Yes, it's no easy task. It's a lot of work. And that's how the research, by doing the research, if you did interview Tony K, those are some of the reasons you can put to say this is how it help you to better understand the individual. Now, once you have done the written component, and I hope persons understood all of what I just said. Are you still there? If you're there and you understood what I just said about the written component, and please put it in the comment section if you understand. Yes, put it in the comment section if you understand. Just let me know. Just type yes. Just keep talking to me. Let me know that you're understanding. Guys. It's okay. Whether even if you don't have any question, if you agree with something that I've said, just type that you agree and type what it is, so I know exactly that you're there and I know that you're still there and I'm talking to you. All right. I just want to know that I still have persons with me and we are listening, and this session is being quite useful for persons. All right. Now that you've done the written component, what you want to make sure that you're going to get into once you've done the written component, you are going to go straight into your creative component. Again, guys, this is where you get an opportunity to shine. Yes, all those creative people, this is where you get an opportunity to shine. Now, at this point in time, you can present the information in whatever way you want. So, but what kind of information are you now going to put into this creative component? What it is that you're going to do, you want to bring all the things that you would have spoken about in the written component of your reflection, along with all the things that you would have presented in your general body of your essay about the individual, and you're going to put all of that together to create something new, something creative, your own thing from your heart. Nobody can decide what that is for you. Yes? So if you're somebody who like to write a song or like to write songs, you can take all of this information and you're going to write a song about it. Yes? You can write a poem. If you're somebody who likes to draw, yes, you can draw something that represents what you're thinking at this point in time. So you get very excited about it. And so what you want to do, you want to put some new perspective on the work. So for example, what if I am doing this work about Edna Manley, and based on all the things that I would have said about Edna Manley and I've seen in my research, I want to write something new. And you know what that new is? What if I decide I'm going to draw Edna Manley as is? But you know the creative part that I want to add to it, I probably believe that, you know what if I want to add that Edna Manley must get some new buildings, and what the new buildings that Edna Manley could look like. I am going to draw what I think that should look like. Yes, and I'm going to label it to say this is what the old building was and this is what the new building will be that we are adding onto it. Yes, and so that is going to be a new perspective that I am putting and bringing to the conversation. Yes, I want to pose question. Maybe the question in posing the question is, what if this was what Edna Manley building looked like? That could be the new question that I am posing. So once I draw what I'm drawing, I can label my image and put it in there. The same thing about the poem. I can write my poem and make those questions about the perspective. Kayana earlier said that, you know what, people like to watch plays, but they love to look down on actors. What if in my poem, I'm going to put something out there to say to them, do not look down on actors because it's a lot of work. Yes? So you have to use the information in your written component of your reflection, along with that is in the body of your essay, and you're putting that together to get a creative element, something that is new. You're creating something new with that bit of information. Yes? And so you determine what the format is that you want to put that creative piece of work in. So you can make your poem rhyme if you want it to rhyme, right? You can make your piece as colorful as possible. What if the piece that you want to put in there in terms of the drawing, you want to make it a kind of collage? Yeah. What if you want to find objects and put on the paper? You draw something and you want to use various objects to create whatever it is that is there. Sand, cloth, strings, various colors. It's up to you because this is a creative component. Remember, the aim of the paper is to ensure that what? You work on the appreciation, and it also helps you to work on your creativity. You're building two major skills for the research paper, and this part of it allows you to be creative based on your interpretation, your understanding, your conclusion that you're drawing, your own reflection. You're putting all of that together in your written component, and once you've done that in your creative component, you're good for your work. Yes, and you would have done a stellar job. And so that would be it for your reflection. But we are not quite finished as yet with the research paper. We have something else that we have to do. Now, because you would have done some research at the very beginning before you do your interview. Remember when I started out, I said to you that you must do your research about the individual or the institution. Now you make sure that once you do your research, you're going to need a bibliography. Yes, you're going to need a bibliography to say where you got some of your information from. And so if it's newspaper clipping, you are going to get the information from the newspaper clipping. Yes, and you're going to put that information in. You're going to say which of if it's from Google, you're going to put the article, the link that you got from Google in your bibliography. If you visited the website of the individual or the institution or the company, you want to put the company's website because that is where you would have got the information from. And if you went to the person's social media page or the institution's social media page, you want to put that link there as well. However, that one is a tricky one. If you're putting the person's social media information, you can't just put Facebook and leave it at that. You can't just put www.facebook.com or instagram.com. No, what you have to make sure that you do, you put the link that takes you directly to the institution's page or the company's page or the individual's page. Yes, that is what you have to do if you're putting that as your bibliography. And that will make a difference in terms of what your bibliography will look like. So you have to do your research and put the information there. Once you have done that now, students, then you are going to have your appendices or your appendix. Now, in your appendix, and this is now critical, in your appendix, this is where you are going to put your interview questions. So all the questions and responses from your interview, you will now put it in the appendix. So if you ask the individual 10 questions and you got the 10 responses, you are going to put the 10 questions along with the 10 responses in your appendix. So you ask a question of Ed Manley, how and why was the Edna Manley College started? That's one question. You put what the response is. Question 2, whatever question 2 was, you put the response for question 2. Question 3, you put that question there, then you put the response. And once you have, so you have question, response, question, response, question, response, and you will put that transcript in your appendix. Guys, if you don't have that, you are going to allow yourself to be losing some marks. So you must put the interview questions along with the responses in the appendix. Don't forget to do that. That is why you must have an appendix page. But what else can you put in your appendix? If you have additional images about the individual or the institution, you can also put it in your appendix. Yes? Earlier, Shannon said she had about 10 in her work. That's fine. But you don't have to put all 10 there. You can also put some in the appendix and you can put more in the appendix. So if you found a newspaper article about the individual that you are doing your research on, or the theater company or the dance company or the cultural group, you can cut out that newspaper article and you can paste it in your appendices, in your appendix. If you have other pictures, you can paste it in your appendices. If you have flyers of the individual's work, you can paste it in the appendices. No matter what the work is, if you have costume images, yes, you can take pictures of them, paste those in your appendices as well. So you can go ahead and do that. And what that does, it allows you to present additional information about the individual that is informed by the research that you would have done. And those things are the research material. Because remember, I did say you have to do your research at the beginning. The examiners, when your paper go up to CSEC, are looking for evidence of research. And what shows evidence of research? It's the bibliography and the information that you have in your appendices. So go and find those newspaper clippings and articles about the individual. Go and find those flyers about the individual. Put in those transcripts from the interviews about the individual. All things that you research, it is from Facebook you find it, if it is from LinkedIn, get the research information and put that information in your appendix. And once you have done that, then you would have completed your research paper successfully. At this point in time, I think I would have covered all the areas that it is that we are supposed to cover under the research paper. And so we have a few more minutes just to take a few more questions if anybody have any, or we want to provide some clarity on something before we go. Any question from anyone? Any comment from anyone? While we are here and we are waiting, don't forget to like the live and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you've not yet subscribed. Go right ahead and do so. All right, so everybody understand what it is that we've just said? Just put it in the chat, guys. Just let me know you're still there. Let me know that you understand. Don't go silent on me. Let us hear where you are. Let us hear where you are. Anika says she understands. Anika, you think you can go ahead and finish your paper now? I know you said that it was coming on slowly. You think you can go ahead and finish it? Moya, Kemoya from Manchester. I haven't heard from you, Kemoya. Are you still here? Kiana, you haven't started your paper. You think you can go ahead and start now? Tajne? How about you, Tajne? Navardo? How about you? Ashanti? How about you? Shana? How about you? I'm checking on my people. How about you? Therese, how about you? Some of you said it was coming slowly, but you're still working. Some of you said it's coming slowly, but you're still working on it. Do you think you can go ahead and complete now? We have about another three. We have about another 3 minutes or so, or 5 minutes for questions. Tajne, I will be able to move faster with it now. All right, great, Tajne. Happy to hear. And if ever you meet up and you think you meet up on a snag and you have a question, don't forget to just come on and shoot a question. All right? Just come back on this live and shoot the question and I will answer it quickly for you so I can help you along. Anybody else? Carice, how about you? Are you still with us, Carice? Kayana? Shana? Navardo? Are you still there? Kemoya? Are you still there? Ashanti? Let me know if you're still here. And let me know if you understand. Kerry says she understand her comments, won't send. Oh, unfortunate, Kerry. So sorry to hear. All right, great to know, Kerry, is that you understand, and I hope you'll be able to move with your paper much faster now. All right. Anybody else? Go ahead. Remember, always going to ask you to like the live, and I'm also going to ask you to subscribe if you've not yet subscribed. Don't be afraid to ask your questions as well, even after the live is finished, guys. All right, that's why I'm here to help. I will respond to you, whatever your concern is, whatever your comment is. Kiana, well, miss, I am waiting a reply from my chosen practitioner. All right, no problem, no problem. But put in the work and do what you're supposed to do so that by the time you get that response, you're ready. All right, do you have all your questions already, Kiana? So make sure you have you've done your research and you have your questions and you're ready. All right. All right, everybody. It seems as if we have no further questions. All right, I now understand. So thank you for the information. You are most welcome, Kiana. It's my pleasure to assist all of you. All right, it seems as if we have no further questions. And so if we have no further questions, I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to end the live at this point. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Thank you for giving me your time. You didn't have to do it, but you're here and I don't take that for granted. I appreciate you all being here. And listen, if you do have a request on something that you want me to do a live session on with you, feel free to put it in the feel free to put it to send me a message. As a matter of fact, let me just ask that question before I go. Is there something that you'd want me to do a live on, maybe a particular topic leading up to the CSEC exam that you'd probably want me to do a live session on with all of you? Just type that in the chat, whatever that is, and of course I will make the accommodation to accommodate you. Anybody, is there anything? Anything? We have a minute to go. 2 more minutes before I close out the live. But in the interest of time, if you have anything that you want me to do a live on, just comment under any of my videos on this platform. I will see it, I will respond, and I'll make sure I do the live to accommodate everybody. Guys, I thank you so very much for tuning in. And have yourselves a good night. Yes, Rashid, the silence is loud.